Hello, everybody. This is Justin Case of American Newscape, rejoining our friend, coach, mentor, and transformational guy, Jeff Griffin of Griffin Motivation, back for another installment of American Awesome. Hello, Jeff. Welcome back to American Newscape.
Justin, thank you so much for allowing me to come back. I don't know if I got it right the first time, and so I'm just doing all these repeat things. But I love being with you.
Well, I've never told you this, Jeff, but you're actually therapy for me. So it's like free therapy.
Absolutely, man. I'll take it. I'll take it. But you know what they say? Yeah, you get what you pay for, and so this might be some cheap therapy.
Well, I have a cheap nature about me, so cheap therapy is a good thing. All right,
There you go.
enough of my digressions. Now, Jeff, where have you been? What's been happening?
Oh my goodness. I have been halfway around the world. I don't know if it's halfway around the world, but I flew into Paris. I'm telling you, if you guys have ever flown into Europe, done any of that stuff, stay away from Charles de Gaulle. It's like the worst airport situation. Three for three bad experiences. But went from Paris to Tallinn, Estonia to go speak at Mind Valley University with Vishen Lakiani and they were celebrating their 20th anniversary of starting their little journey and whatnot. And this this young man from Cache Valley, this little farm boy, had an opportunity to go share a stage with Vishen and help some of his people out. There were some pretty miraculous things that took place while we were there.
Well, that's kind of exciting, Jeff. I didn't know about that, and I might be biased, but I think they were lucky to land you and get you over there. And it sounds like you got something out of it too.
Oh, absolutely, and not just me. The people who are there, he does this thing where he picks a place, and I think it's going to be in Tallinn here the next few years or whatnot. But they take 3 weeks, 3 weeks, like day in day out, Monday through Friday, and there's some parties on Saturday, and then you can rest and relax on Sunday and get ready for the next week. But I was only there for a week. They're just finishing up their second week right now. They'll do their third week, but everyone comes all over the world. They just come. They're like, you know what? We want to receive some intense um, education and pertinent education, and we want some information that's going to move the needle and help us, you know, progress in our life. And so they have something for the kids, while the parents are going through their little thing. They got something for the teenagers, and then of course they've got the adult session. And I had an opportunity to share what you and I have been talking about a few times, and that's really just to introduce the 3Ds to this group of people and his audience. And you know like it always happens, we move the room, we transform the room with this life altering experience that I give them. And the people were crying, people were laughing, but people were committed to transform their lives, change their lives, improve their lives, and really live life to the fullest instead of just barely breathing. They're giving their hearts a reason to breathe. And so, one specific and particular person came up to me afterwards. I gave him my battle cry bracelets. I brought some battle cry bracelets because you can't sell anything on stage or anything like that. And so I brought my battle cry bracelets. I got 4 of them. One's black that says courage, do, faith, have. There's a white one that says endless possibilities. There's a pink one that says I'm possible. And there's a blue one that says just don't quit, capital D-O, capital I-T. I know it's kind of corny, I know whatnot, but they dug it. The people dug it there. And I was rolling down the hall after my speech the next day, and there was a gentleman that had the blue one on, just don't quit. And I'm like, hey, how'd you like my speech? And he's like, I wasn't there. And I'm like, okay, well, great. You got my battle cry bracelet. What does this mean? And how did it impact you? And then he opened up and he shared the story. He's like, my wife went to it, and she was just impacted. She was so impacted that she grabbed a battle cry bracelet for herself and this one for me. And then she told me the story about what you shared on stage and the principles that you taught and the 3Ds that you introduced. And he's like, just hearing about it impacted my life. And the reason why my wife gave me this bracelet was because I wanted to take my life.
Wow.
He no longer felt like life was worth living, and he wanted to end it. And his wife's like, I don't want you to end it. I want to be with you. I want you to be in this world. And so, she's been fighting for him more than he's been fighting for himself. And then after hearing my story, this man's like, oh, okay, I got it. And he's like, instead of wanting to take my life, I now want to live my life. And so we did another workshop on Monday before I flew home this Tuesday, and he and his wife were there right there in the front row, and he's just devouring, all these things that I'm sharing with the group there. And anyway, it was beautiful to know that I had a small part in this man's journey and this man's decision to, no longer think that life's not worth living, to the point where he's like, you know what? I've got every reason to live. And now he's starting to develop this dream that's going to, allow him to just experience life in HD and in just a different experience that he has been in. And so, those were the type of things that were happening there in Tallinn, Estonia, while I was over there at Mind Valley University.
Hey, I get a couple takeaways from that. You have one thing you always do, Jeff, and I hope you appreciate it, is you always bring your A game. So you're there with your A game. So knowing that you're there with your A game, I know that they're going to receive the energy and the positive mentorship that you're going to grant those people. But the other thing, because you're who you are, your sphere of influence has gotten a little bit bigger with that family, with that wife, with that man. And there's no way to put a value on that importance. So you've become her ambassador to show the appreciation to her husband, to make him want to stick around.
Yeah. And I appreciate those words, and I'll take that. I'll receive it wholeheartedly. My intent was to go out there was twofold. First one was I think Confucius said that to, approach things with an empty cup. If your cup's already full, you're not going to be able to feel anything in it or receive anything. And so for me, my intent was, I'm going to show up to Estonia these 7 days that I'm going to be there, and I'm going to lift the spirits of those I run into, lighten their loads, and love them. And unknowingly, that was exactly what happened with this couple. That I lightened their spirits, I lifted their loads and loved them. And so, and they felt it, they experienced it, and now hopefully they'll turn around and do the same thing to those that they come in contact with. And so,
well, no, it's just, I'm sure you going through that process, it lightens your load, and it you feel loved by your audience. So how cool is that? I mean, how cool is that, Jeff?
Yeah, I do it for selfish reasons.
Yes, exactly.
I want you to love me, so I'm going to love you. I want you to lighten my load, so I'm going to lighten your load. And I want you to lift my spirit. And so, boom, let's just do this together. And anyway, it's it's great. It was a great experience, and it was a lot of fun. I miss the weather. I miss the people and the kindness, and I'm looking forward to the next event that we're going to be doing, not necessarily with Mind Valley University, but with other people as well. And so, things are picking up. I'm going to be speaking with Peyton Manning on stage next month in Sun Valley, Wyoming. Is that where
Idaho?
it's at? Idaho.
Is it Idaho?
Yes, it is.
I don't ski.
Yeah, it's not Yellowstone, but anyway, yes, Sun Valley, Idaho. That's where we'll be going, and so, it's just the momentum is starting to pick up. I always say that I'm the greatest speaker that you never heard of yet, but because of you, just in case, and your efforts and the things that you're doing and the light that you're shining on other people and allowing me to be a part of that, we're maximizing our momentum, and things are starting to pick up.
Well, people should realize that I need a lot of therapy, and because you're bringing that therapy to me, I'm sharing it with the world. So, how cool
Right.
is that? How cool is that?
Absolutely. Reciprocity. I love it, man.
Okay, so you and Peyton Manning, I hope you get a chance to talk football, and I hope he takes a moment to throw you a pass.
Mm, absolutely. We're going to get that on film. We'll film it, and we'll come back again, and we'll report, and we'll have some another great conversation on how other people can learn how to amplify their life. And one thing that we rarely talk about a lot is success and what it looks like. And a lot of people, success is just defined in so many ways. And I've learned that one way to determine something, um, sometimes in order to understand something or to define something, we can define what it's not. And a lot of people think that success, or the opposite of success, is failure. But I've never met anyone who has not failed their way to the top, and who hasn't failed their way to success. And so, for me, success, there's a 3-part series. You got to know what you want, you got to finish what you start, and you got to celebrate the process. KFC, know, finish, celebrate. And it's not like the Kentucky Fried Chicken that you get at KFC, but it is KFC, and it is finger licking good, and it helps you identify what success is, helps you understand what you want to know, and then it helps you finish till the end, and then we're celebrating the whole time. And so again, we're back celebrating with you.
Well, and I think that's you and I share that common ground. There is a celebration. Life is a celebration itself. The goods, the bads, the highs, the lows, and giving people the opportunity to transform their lives in a positive manner and direction. It's just good to know you, Jeff.
Likewise.
Okay, so and I really like that celebration aspect of it. And if we could impose anything, gift to people, learn to celebrate, and just like her husband needs to learn to celebrate today, tomorrow, and all right, Jeff, let me get off of that. Why don't you give us some inspiration? Give us some homework. Give us a couple things you want us to work on before we see you again.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of times we get overwhelmed with there's so many things to do. There's like so many things to do. Like, okay, where do I start? What do we do? So I call it a 252 lifestyle, because there's two things on the bookends, and 2 areas on this side, 2 areas on this side. So there's really 4 areas in our life that we should focus on, and then the 5 is the 5 building blocks that holds up that bridge that helps you bridge the gap of going, from going where you are to where you want to go. And that was bad English, but anyway, it helps you go from where you are to where you want to go. And so in each of those areas, those 5 building blocks, where actually each of those areas of your life, you got the physical, you've got the mental, you've got the spiritual, and you've got the social. And so one thing that I'm going to invite you and your listeners to do until we meet again is we're going to focus on the social aspect. And that is, how do you show up? How do you show up and approach people? Because I don't know if you've ever been with people where you're like, hey, how you doing? And they're like, good. And then they just suck the life out of you. They're like the Death Eaters on Harry Potter. I know that's the wrong term, but that's what I call them, Death Eaters. They just suck the life out of you. But what I've learned is how we approach life is how people will respond to us. And not always, but the majority of the time. And so how we approach people is typically how people will respond to us as well. And there's a simple thing that we can do in order to show up in the social arena, and that is to just simply show up with positive energy and a smile. Because a smile, Justin, is a crooked line that sets things straight.
Wow.
And there's something magical about that smile. That smile just brings the energy. It brings that response that we all would hope and like to have and receive. And so I want you to pay attention. The invitation I want to leave you is pay attention on how you approach people. And then if it's not if it's not what you want, then flip the switch and reframe things and approach it with a smile. That's all you have to do. You don't have to come and be like over the top. You don't have to be this very positive person. Just smile as you approach people and interact with them, and just see what happens with the experience. And I would love to hear some of your experiences the next time that we are back at it again.
All right. Next time we'll talk about the social arena of life. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, everybody. Hey, this has been Justin Case and Jeff Griffin bringing you American Awesome. Thanks for joining us. Remember, additional information and links are provided in this video's read more. Today's the day to subscribe to this channel. Please learn more about Jeff Griffin when time permits and keep company with us at the Cool Kids table.